Hey everyone, it's Luke here from LT Gaming and welcome back to the channel. We've been deep in space lately, previewing sims, builders and galactic strategy, but now it's time to come back down to Earth and back to Wargames. Sudden Strike 5 has just been announced and it's bringing real-time tactics back to the front lines, big maps, big unit counts and the kind of methodical, explosive combat that rewards careful planning and bold execution. It's tactical RTS on a grand World War II scale, packed with infantry squads, tank battalions, air support, and enough battlefield chaos to keep you thinking 3 moves ahead. And personally, I played a ton of Sudden Strike 4 on handheld with a controller. That was my Lenovo Legion Go, and it actually handled beautifully. So with this new entry confirmed for both PC and consoles, I'm intrigued to see where this series goes next. Now, just to be clear, this is confirmed to come out in 2026. Now, there is a closed beta test you can apply for. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. So let's break it down. Sudden Strike 5 is a real-time tactics game set during World War II with a huge focus on historic authenticity and battlefield control. No base building, no resource hoarding, just you, your units, and the mission at hand. Across a massive 25 mission campaign, you'll take command of over 300 units, including 190 vehicles and 110 infantry types, all based on real-world designs. Yeah, of course, we're talking Shermans, T-34s, Messerschmitts. It's a military sandbox grounded in detail in this regard. You choose your objectives, pick your commander, each one bringing different buffs or tactical tools, then execute your plan on a massive layered map. I'm hoping it's less about how fast you click and more about how well you think ahead. I think when you play a real-time wargame, this aspect is really important. I like it to be more on the military simulation side, and typically Sudden Strike is more of a real-time strategy game, so they're going to need to get this balance right to really keep me intrigued. I want to feel like I'm in a battle, not just playing a modern World War II Red Alert clone. What stands out here is the level of tactical depth. You're not just moving blobs of units, you're coordinating recon patrols, setting ambushes, cutting off supply lines, and using terrain to your advantage. Well, that's what they're promising in the brief of the game. So this should tie into my point that hopefully the game has more of a military simulation wargame aspect and not just a real-time strategy clickfest. I would really like it that if you wanted to flank a panzer column, you'll need eyes on the ridge first. Want to take out an airfield? Then you better clear those AA nests before you send in bombers. For me as a wargamer, it's got to be about stacking those small victories and turning them into big ones. This would really bring that welcome unpredictability to the battlefield. One bad call, one missed line of sight and your entire flank might crumble. When it comes to wargaming, whether turn-based or real-time, this keeps you engaged, cautious and constantly adapting. And in a genre where so many games rely on brute force, it would be refreshing if Sudden Strike asked for brains over brawn. Then again, perhaps there's those out there who would just like a massive RTS visual spectacle. Just a quick interlude to say most of you who watch the channel are not subscribed. So make sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button because it helps smaller channels like us grow really quickly and both me and Tom really appreciate it. So what's actually changed since Sudden Strike 4? First off, this isn't just a graphical upgrade. The entire engine will be built on a modern system, which means more detailed environments, smoother unit movement, and hopefully much better pathfinding. Now, we don't really bang on about this on this channel because we're primarily focused on PC games, but there's also a full console launch planned, PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, alongside PC, and that's pretty exciting for those players also. It's a shame when a lot of gamers come onto our channel and they really want to get into these types of games and they can't because they're console players. So look, I welcome this. I'll certainly play on a big screen, and like I said, I played Sudden Strike 4 extensively on my handheld. And as someone who really enjoyed that experience, I can say this series lends itself surprisingly well to that slower tactical playstyle, and it worked really well with the control scheme. Then of course there's the commander system. Each one gives you different tactical boosts. Maybe you specialize in artillery, maybe you lean into stealth and sabotage. It adds replayability and lets you tailor your style. What I'm hoping this all adds up to is a smarter, tighter tactical experience. That was an interesting sentence to say. Not just bigger battles, but more responsive AI, clearer command options, and better flow on the field. If they get that right, this could be the most polished Sudden Strike to date. I've been deep into WARNO recently, and that game has that unique vibe sitting somewhere between RTS and milsim. It's real time but methodical, And with the new updates, they've actually turned it into a thinking person's wargame, not just a click fest, and I've really come to appreciate that. And Sudden Strike 5 has me wondering, will it scratch the same itch, or will it feel more classic, more confined to tight objectives and set-piece moments? It's a question of scale and freedom. Then there's Company of Heroes 3, a game that had promise but didn't quite stick the landing for some. Flashy visuals, sure, but maybe not enough tactical bite. Sudden Strike feels like the answer to that, less cinematic, more control, less big moment, more big picture. And if you've been following Men of War 2, that game leans into micro detail and destructibility, zoomed in infantry management, tank components and all that stuff. Sudden Strike 5 looks like it's carving out its own lane, more structured than WARNO, more large scale than Men of War, and with just enough flexibility to let you command without getting bogged down. One thing I found about Sudden Strike 4, it was a really good palate cleanser, an action-packed RTS wargame that I just enjoyed and didn't have to think too much about. So yeah, I'm excited to play a brand new wargame with all these units. Yes, it's more of an RTS, but I hope it leans a little bit into the milsim stuff, and I think we could be onto a winner here. What I really hope we see here is the same mix of intensity and sandbox decision making that made Sudden Strike 2 a cult favourite. I'd love to see dynamic AI, full mission modding, and a skirmish mode that's actually worth your time. The one in Sudden Strike 4 wasn't great. And fingers crossed for solid performance across platforms, especially on console, where this could be one of the rare games that proves RTS doesn't have to live and die on mouse and keyboard. As I said before, the devs are also offering closed beta access soon, so we'll hopefully get hands-on impressions well before launch in 2026. So, are you ready to get back to the trenches? If you're into tactical realism, layer command, and games that reward smart, deliberate play, Sudden Strike 5 might be worth keeping a close eye on. Wishlist it early, sign up for the beta, and drop a comment. Do you still believe in the old school RTS comeback, or are you fully converted to WARNO's open map madness? Either way, more previews coming soon, so hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys out on the battlefield.